What was the first detail you recall? Describe the room as you remember it. A corridor stretches out in either direction. The papers in your hand are soft with wear, and typed ink lettering cracks and peels in places. You're not sure how long it's been. You recall the last set of questions you were asked. What is your name, or who are you? How old are you, or what is your date of birth? Why did you come here, or similar? How did you get here, or how did you arrive? Where and or who are your parents? Describe a typical day, or similar. What are your longer-term plans, or similar? Footsteps. A man treads past with something foreign on his wrist. White noise, static, irregular breathing. Footsteps, closing doors, keys. I return my attention to the paper. Someone calls my name and my head empties. When I return to the chair, there's something different about the quality of the air. I'm aware of the light taking on a new tone. Passing footsteps fall harder than their last register. I recall a conversation recently held over a near-empty table. Taking the papers from under the chair, I try and pick up where I left off and see another language entirely unfamiliar. The constructs we built around ourselves were for our own protection. But now I no longer operate the borders, I feel unseen hands pulling from different directions, shaping new boundaries unfamiliar to me. Ground once familiar, now new and uninviting. New structures emerge, drawn in coded intervals, lines and edges hard to define. Nothing is moving discernibly, but the air of hostility is palpable, and searchlights reach with uncomfortable certainty through a two-way mirror. Hard limits, fugitive states. We built this vessel for ourselves. Peel off the red backing to the tape. The tape beneath is clear and adhesive. Peel off the backing to the red tape. The tape is opaque and sticks only on one side. Peel back the red tape. Start again. A table is sat at borders, in a chamber not unlike this one. Abrupt metal faces. A woman sits in a chair behind it, looking unamused. You approach the table, walk along highly polished floors worn by shoes, tyres and other rubberized surfaces. The woman meets your gaze, and you wonder for a moment if she'll beckon you to her. Doors to your left. Arrested by her gaze. I moved into a new space and a brief dialogue follows. As I sit tentatively and anticipate the sound of approaching footsteps, I turn my eyes to the narrow frame hung on the wall. I see a small room reflected in the mirror, the proportions of which are unusually narrow. I leave my station and move closer. The drab wallpaper fades away behind the panel, and I fade into a memory affected by a similarly proportioned pane of glass. Carpet. Economic furnishing neatly arranged. My own face unrecognisable. The reflection bears a sight much like this one, but the room is warmer. Hot magenta, ruby, green fingers of neon light through a narrow window. The light overhead dims. The green remains. Some time later, I'm pulled from bed and held between arms that are not as gentle as they used to be. With some force, I'm carried into a room much brighter than this one. Returning to that chamber, I recall long, impermeable surfaces, rectangular forms, a distinct lack of detail to grasp onto. A table. Someone asks a few seemingly ordinary questions, and I struggle to remember the face of the person asking them. I recede from the mirror, allowing myself to become distant from that space, when the room around me seems closer than before.